Yeah. Hello. I'm gonna record another one of these unscripted oversharing things. I think I came up with that name after I shot the last video. I didn't say that in the video last time, did I? Um, so, Ed suggested that I could talk about being trans and stuff. And I'm just remembering that it's been over a week since I've shaved, and I probably don't look so good on camera right now because of that. Oh well. Um. So yeah, it was something like 5 years ago. Um, I figured out that some of the changes that some trans women were talking about from taking hormones sounded rather appealing to me, and that's when that's when I kind of realized maybe I'm not a guy like I'd always just sort of assumed. I mean, the more I thought about it, the more it made sense because, like, when I was growing up, you might say I thought I was a defective boy. I mean, well, for starters, I only thought I was a boy because the apparent facts of the universe said so. Um, but if someone were to say to me when I was a kid, hey, you're acting like a girl or whatever, I don't think I would have been too hurt. And when it came to, like, macho things, um, stereotypical boy stuff, it's like, um, got some dust here. Um, I thought everybody was just pretending to be more masculine than they really were, and that I wasn't as good at pretending as everybody else. Eventually, in 2002, I realized that I could be attracted to anyone regardless of gender, which that right there opened up a lot of possibilities for me. I felt like I no longer had any reason to keep up a facade of being more masculine than what was really natural for me. And I mean, sure, I never really had a super good reason for doing that in the first place, but it just made even less sense with the knowledge that I wasn't straight. Um, so I started to drop that facade, kind of pieces at a time. Um, that was all right, um, but it still took me another 12 years until 2014 when it occurred to me that, well, maybe I'm not even a guy in the first place. So, like, at first I was like, okay, while I'm comfortable being categorized as male, I reserve the right to sometimes not be. And then it was, people can say either he or she when they're referring to me. Like, mix it up, you know? But mostly I only got he all the time, which was a little disappointing. And one day, you know how you have random encounters in your daily life. Not even necessarily meaningful things, but I found myself wondering if passers-by were perceiving me as a man or as a woman. I believe I was wearing like a dress or a skirt at the time, and I realized that I was hoping they saw me as a woman rather than a man. So from then I started saying, you know what? Forget he. Just I'm she now. My pronouns are she. And I have basically been, as far as transition goals, endeavoring not to be seen as a man as the primary goal. Um, I'm not entirely sure. Well, I'm actually fairly confident that actually I'm not a woman. I believe I'm non-binary. Sometimes I get more specific. I say I'm bigender, and on the one side I fluctuate between demigirl and girl, and on the other side I fluctuate between being a demi-boy and not being masculine at all. On the other hand, sometimes I simplify it and I say I'm approximately female. And you know what? I found a word called girl prox, which I think basically means approximately female. So maybe I'll just simplify with that. There was a time when I was calling myself demigirl. There's also paragirl, which is like similar to being female, but not quite the same. It's all fuzzy, really. There's fuzzy boundaries for all of these things, and they all overlap, and it's a great big multi-dimensional spectrum and continuum, and there's no fixed anchors. There's just you can only gauge your position relative to where you perceive everyone else to be. And there's these great big massive clumps of people. We call them male, and this other one we call female, and I guess I'm closer to the female one, but maybe not directly in line between them, or is there even a way to define a line between them? Maybe this continuum is curved in such a way that such a such a an ambiguous line connecting two points just doesn't exist. Here I am dragging math into it. Go me. So I don't like wearing pants, which I mean I've always known I don't like wearing pants because I don't like wearing clothes in general. But I much prefer to wear a dress or a skirt. Put on leggings if I need the warmth. So t-shirts are okay, but I think I'd prefer women's fit t-shirts. I don't really have enough of those. Um, and as far as pronouns, it's gotten a bit more complicated since a few years ago, which was about where I left off with the story some number of minutes ago. My computer just told me the time is 0:30. Thank you, computer. Um, for a while, I was saying she is fine, they is fine, a is fine, pretty much anything but he. And you might say, well, what about it? You know what? That's actually kind of my preference. There's a ladybug flying very close to the lamp, and the lamp is bright. I don't want to look directly at it. Yeah, so several months ago, I noticed I kept seeing people online say they actually prefer, or rather, their pronoun is it. And every time I saw that, I would think, that's really cool. That's really cool. I'm glad there's people that choose to use the it pronoun. You know, it's um, it's cool. I mean, I guess there's some connotations of being a non-person, or at the very least non-human. And I mean, I'm neurodivergent enough that sometimes it can feel that way. But really, I'm not even rationalizing it with that. I'm just saying every time I see somebody say my pronouns are it, it's, itself, I think that's really cool. And then at one point I'm like, wait a minute. If I think it's cool when other people do that, why can't I? So I understand that other people can be uncomfortable with it pronouns for a person, and that's okay. It's as I said before, anything but he is fine. But as far as what remains, which is a lot, and honestly, I don't know how to conjugate most of them, but I don't think that's even the right use of the word conjugate. But anyway, of all the pronouns to choose from, all the pronouns that I'm familiar with, I have a slight preference to be referred to as it. And at least a few of my friends have started doing so, and I appreciate that. Just wish I was better at keeping up with, like, shaving. Well, I need to get it removed first. That is a goal, but money is an issue. And executive dysfunction, and shaving is such a manly thing. At least shaving my face. Shaving legs, sure, that's a somewhat feminine activity, but it's a pain in the ass, and the results are spectacular for like a day. Then it's kind of, yeah. I waxed once, which was really cool. It was smoothness for weeks. And when it did start to come back, it came back really soft and thin. I should probably do that more often. But again, money. And I don't know how long this video is because I am not looking at the screen on my phone. It's kind of rubber banded to the top of a tripod. My phone, of course, is not designed to accommodate a tripod, so I just had to improvise. If I seem less than excited or forlorn or whatever while making this video, it's not because I don't like to talk about gender. It's, well, I'm not exactly having a great week. Could be a lot worse, but it could be better. So I think I'll end this video here. See you next time. Yeah. Oh, hi, Ed.
Hi, Mark.